Hello, my name is James. I'm a portrait photographer from Portsmouth in the UK. And I welcome you to this, my studio, and to our YouTube channel, and to this latest shoot. We're going to be explaining 4 essential photography lighting terms that you will need to know and understand to take your photography to the next level. I'm aware that when I do these seminars, when I do these training videos, I'm using photography terms and I don't always explain exactly what they are. So this is a back to basics video explaining 4 key photography terms so that you know and understand how to use them to take into your next portrait session. We are joined by Stephen here, auditioning for the to be the next James Bond here. Look at this. It could happen, but it could never be an American, could it? It could never happen. We're going to be starting off by breaking down a 4-light setup to build up to an amazing showstopper image. We're going to ask Stephen just to sit down on the block down here just to begin with. He's in his cool suit. And you'll know from the previous video when he was in a suit, we eventually got him to a position that created interesting images in terms of angles. So we've just got him down nice and low here so that we're creating shape and form immediately with the way that he's being posed. The first light we're going to set up from this 4-light setup is our main light, and it's otherwise known as a key light. You might hear photographers saying the word key light, you might hear photographers saying the main light. This is the #1 light in every portrait session because it's the main light that's going to be used to illuminate the subject within the image. We can use other lights to add accent and to add highlights and to take away shadows and to elevate a portrait and to light all of the other things around it. But our main light is the one that is going to sculpt light, particularly in portraits, around the face. Our main light in this instance is one of my oldest lights. Come here, my second oldest light that I own. It's the Elinchron D-Light RX4. God knows what you can get them online secondhand for these days, but it's gonna be entry level and it's still used in my studio. It's still working, it's still awesome. We've attached it to a tripod and we've put a soft box on the end of it. This is otherwise known as a modifier. This soft box is an octabox, which is going to give us an almost circular light source. And we've placed it up above where Stephen is here, shooting down 45 degrees towards his eye level, just above his eye level, and round to the side to sculpt the face slightly there. So it's in this sort of high angled down position. If we were to draw a line from the middle of the softbox right through there to the end of the softbox, that arrow would be coming just above Stephen's eye line. That's exactly where we want it here for this shot. The camera we're going to be using for this session, as always, is my Canon R6 with a 24-105 f4 lens. That's my workhorse lens on the end. And I've got my flash trigger here, the EL Skyport. And what that's going to do is it's going to talk straight away to this unit. So that as soon as I hit the trigger, it's going to fire off a flash and give us good exposure throughout the whole subject. We've measured this out and I'm shooting this portrait today at 1/160th of a second, f11, and I've set my ISO to 100 to maintain quality through. And as always, I shoot in RAW to get as much detail and as much quality and as many pixels as possible from this subject that can be used in post-production to create amazing images. We're going to take this first portrait here just to see how the exposure is looking and just to see how Stephen looks. Looking straight down towards me, so adjusting the tie, 3, 2, 1, go. Beautiful shot there. Very simple. And we can see that our main light there is exposing from the side, coming down towards Stephen there. Little chink of light just underneath the eye on the far side, but it's given us nice classical tones in there from our key light. Not a lot of light falling on that backdrop though. We've got a nice bright red backdrop that we're using today because of the elements. Come and have a look in here. We've thought about this. Look, he's got a burgundy shirt and the red accent there of the handkerchief in the pocket there. It's all working in together. So what's the next light we're going to use to elevate this portrait slightly? We're going to bring in this softbox here on another Elinchron Power Pack. This is the ELB 500. And we're going to bring it round here just in front of where Stephen is here, again angling down. So it's working 45 degrees round from our main light. This is our fill light. And the fill light you can set up with different ratios to give you different looks and different tones and different forms throughout the portrait. The fill light in effect is going to hit into all of those darker areas around Stephen's face and give us a punch of light in there, not higher than our main light. Because if it was, then our main light would suddenly have to become our fill light. This is just filling in those shadow areas to a level just below where the main light is exposing. So we still want those shadow areas to be slightly darker than what the main light is illuminating them to, but not overpowering. So we've still got that shape and form throughout. It's just in more balance with the lighting ratio. For this one, I'm going to aim for a balance of 1:2, which means that our fill light should be around about half the exposure of the main light, giving us that little bit of imbalance there, just a tiny little bit of imbalance, so that there should still be shadow areas working with the highlights. We're going to turn the light on here. We've measured it all out previously, and we'll have a look at how this works in here. Roughly the similar pose there for me, looking straight towards me with a neutral expression. That's perfect. 3, 2, 1, go. Nice. And they've worked in there. We've still got that shadow area on the side of the face. We've still got the highlight area on the right-hand side of the face, but now it's in balance from the previous shot. Now in this instance, what we've got is we've got a very, very flat background. That fill light has actually pumped more light in and over the top here, which has given us even more light on the background, which has meant that that background has come up a little bit brighter red. That's coming in there. But what if we want to punch a little bit more light into the background to really emphasize where Stephen is and where he's positioned within this portrait? Well, for that, we're going to employ a background light, which is our third type of light. This is the background light here. It's on a simple Electron 1, no leads on this one at all. It's all completely battery led. And what I've used here is a very simple reflector cap, and I've put a honeycomb grid inside of that. What the honeycomb grid is going to do is it's going to channel the light. So there's going to be a minimum amount of light spill coming out of the side. So there shouldn't be light going all over the place and onto Stephen in this shot. From this position here, and when we put the modeling light on, I should be able to see roughly there where the light is falling, and it should channel in an almost straight line to hit that backdrop. What we're going to do for this first image here is we're just for you going to turn off our main and our fill lights, and we're just going to take a portrait here with just the background light here. That's perfect, Stephen. Hold that there. 3, 2, 1, go. And we're just going to see how that background light is affecting the portrait. And there we can see we've got a pool of light hitting him just over his shoulder in the background there. I'm going to adjust that slightly to the right-hand side, just so that it's right behind the head and right behind where he is there, to really illuminate just behind Stephen there. 3, 2, 1, go. Perfect. Now with that in the right position, I can turn my fill light back on, and I can turn my key light back on, or my main light back on, starting to use the terms so that we're getting comfortable with the terms that we're using in studio. With all of these lights now working together, we should now be able to see how this portrait looks from the same position. That's good. 3, 2, 1, go. Beautiful shot. There we go. And now we've got that lovely pool of light behind Stephen, just elevating him and that portrait slightly from where we are in the shot. But what's the fourth light that we can use to elevate this even further? Well, what I'm going to use is it's got a load of different terms that you can use. All of them mean slightly different things. Kicker light, separation light, rim light, call it whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it a kicker light, because the first time I was taught it, it was called a kicker light, and I kind of quite like the terminology. I quite like the sound of that. So I'm going to bring it in here. And it's a very simple light source, just on this power pack again here. And we've put a reflector cup on the flashlight, and we've put an orange gel on there. This orange gel is going to give us a little bit more imbalance in terms of the color in the picture, so it's not all just reds, but it's still working in that analogous color scheme where it's working on that little arc and that little bow of reds and oranges, potentially some yellows in there as well, all working in that little arc of the color wheel. By putting this one on and channeling it this way, it should just hit Stephen on the side that's opposite our key light. So we're not putting it on the same side as the key light, because otherwise the portrait would be left side heavy with light. We're balancing it out by bringing the kicker light on this side and channeling it so that the darker side of the face is illuminated with the kicker and separating from the background, and the main light is just there doing its job, still lighting the face. We'll take this shot here and just see how that's elevated the print. 3, 2, 1, looking straight. That's nice, yeah. Good man. Let's have a look at that there. There we go. So real separation, and we can see where that open kicker light without any honeycomb on it is not only illuminating the side of the face, a piece of the hair, but also some of the jacket and some of the knee, and just giving us that difference, that separation, and just giving us that separation from the background. To illuminate and to do something different with this shot even further, we're just gonna bring in old R2-D2, pump in a little bit of dry ice, and we'll just take a couple of shots just with that coming in from the side. Lean forward there for me. 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. And there we go. We're just going to let that smoke dissipate. Time will pass now, not in the form of a montage, but in the form of this. We're back and it's a few seconds later. The smoke's dissipated just a little bit. We can now see through to that background light. And we're just going to do a couple of different poses in here. Nice. Yeah, keep going. 3, 2. Adjust the time. Look straight into the camera there for me if we can. 3, 2. Yeah, keep that expression there was good. 3, 2. Little wiggle there for me. Cheeky expression. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, good man. There we go. So in this instance now, with the dry ice slightly dissipated, the separation light is not only lighting Stephen and separating him from the subjects, it's also backlighting some of that dry ice coming through. The main light's doing its job, the key light's filling in the shadows, and that background light is just giving us that lovely little bit of halo on that red backdrop. So those are 4 of the terms that we're using when we're shooting portraits. Starting off with a main light or a key light, your fill light adding in some light, your background light lighting the background, and your separation rim or kicker light giving us a little bit of an accent. Stephen, up you get. How would you describe this experience, this learning experience, in 3 words?
I'd say informational, fun, and obviously professional. Come on, of course.
Like and subscribe, do all those things. Visit nofussmus.com for more. There's going to be more Stephen on there soon. And yeah, say nice things and be nice. Yeah, all the best.